Yeah, what was your guys' dynamic as far as like the way you interacted with her? Not many people talk about the story where they actually fell in love with a
With the
stripper
stripper, right?
and made them your wife.
I know.
So
So it was kind of like I never treated her like a stripper. Like I kind of treated her just like a, like a girl that I met if I met in the regular club or something, right? Because after a while we start talking, we went on a few dates out to eat, and she told me that ironically enough, her parents were pastors. I've always, I'm sometimes, well, when I was younger, always gullible and didn't know that people, because of my height and, playing basketball, like how they wanted something. They saw something that they can get from me. What I didn't really pay attention to it. And that's probably the reason why I got married. I didn't think that person wanted anything from me, but
yeah, so tell me about your relationship with your ex-wife and how did you guys meet and how did it become a union?
so for the first time ever in my life, at Wilberforce, Forest, I went to a couple of the teammates, like, yo, let's go to a strip club in Dayton. What strip club? I don't got, my perception of strip club was always like thousands and thousands of dollars. Like, nah, we could just go shoot pool, pay $5 to get in, get a few beers.
And we had some thirsty ass teammates that had to get out there in the clubs.
Right.
There's just like strip
Had
club,
to get out there.
women, strip club. Let's get out here and act the fools. Yeah,
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm sure it was a good time. I was the lame. I was the one that was in the dorms. I was probably in a relationship or something.
I should have been there. I should have been in the dorm. Because I walked in and, the first nice round booty I saw, I was like, yo, I got to have her. I want to dance with her. And, she was attractive, got the makeup all on, whatever. And there was a couple other girls in there that, were nice as well. It was like a kid in a candy store. But I think her persistence to get to know me is what kind of like turned me on. I'm like, yo, she's really trying to. She gave me her number. I was like, call me. Wrote it down on her YMCA card. It's like, yo, call me. Da, da, da. And I ended up calling her before we like got back to campus. Well, I didn't call her. I texted her. And she's like, well, I didn't think you were going to text me so soon. Blah, blah, blah. It was nice to see you. All the girls in the locker room were talking about you. Like, wow.
The strip club locker room. Exactly. I tell you. Because I would love, I didn't ask this. Not too long ago, I did interview a former exotic dancer, but, I didn't ask her that question as far as like, what do the ladies talk about when somebody has a new relationship and what goes on behind the scenes,
Yeah. She apparently, my ex-wife was like, yeah, everybody in the locker room was like, yeah, did you guys see that tall, handsome guy? And I had at the time I wore a fitted hat. And
being tall in regular life is different than being tall in the strip club. When you are tall in the strip club, it's
over.
Automatically, they look to you as money.
Perception is reality, right?
Crazy.
So they're already thinking like, oh, he's got it. You know what I mean? So she's like, yeah, everybody was in the locker room and they're just like, who is the tall guy with the hat on, the New York hat on? And she's like, so I had to get your number. I had to be the first one to, talk to you, whatever, before they did, before the competition talked to me.
I'm sure it felt good though. Yeah, it was definitely an ego boost.
To be jockeyed after. And then, we actually, we went to the VIP and I told her at the time, like, yo, I don't have any money. She's like, it doesn't matter. Come on. So we go to VIP and she's dancing on me and she's just like, do you play basketball?
Yes, you do. Yeah. If I do,
I played for Wilberforce, blah, blah, blah. It's my last year. Da, 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 da. And, she's just like, oh, okay, well, um, are you single? She's running down on me at this time.
Meanwhile, it's a lap dance while she's
It's a
telling
lap
you
dance.
this
So
is a
I'm
lap
I'm
dance.
saying
Yeah.
whatever I need to say.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes, the
And
good old lap dance conversation. Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking down here instead
Yeah,
of up here.
Just like anything you say, yeah, baby, I'm out here. I'm
Exactly, you know
outside.
what I
You
mean?
looking fine. It's like, yeah, what's up?
Man. So we like I said, she gave me her number and I text her and we started, going out on dates and stuff like that. She started actually coming to the last little portion of my season. She started to come to some of the games and I'll never forget the reason why I felt so indebted to her was my graduation, like senior fees were due. And I was like, yo, I called home to my mom, I'm like, yo, mom, I'm about to graduate, but in order to get my cap and gown, I need I think it was like $300-$400 or something like that. And at the time, my mom was like, I don't got it. And I'm like, wow. The first college graduate out of my family, my mom doesn't have the money for cap and gown, fees, whatever. So I'm like, fuck. I'm sad. I'm down. And so, but
they still came to your graduation.
Well, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh, because that's
came.
But I mean, that's real
like
though.
a
It's like
5-hour
so
drive. Back then, gas that probably filled up the
again,
tank for like $40-$50. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
and then also to your family, you're the big ticket. Everyone
big
is
ticket.
looking at you like you're the one that's supposed to be the great one because,
exactly.
Like you said, no one in your family ever graduated college
Not at that
all.
time.
So you're the first one.
I was the first one. So she's like, why are you so sad? My at then pre-wife, why are you so sad? I'm like, man. So I told her the situation. She's like, well, how much are your fees? Showed her, like, it was like $400. She's like, done. Say less. She's a stripper. $400. It's like, a few hours in the club. You know what I mean? And she paid it. And she's like, but I'm only paying it if my parents can come.
She got you.
Exactly. So now her parents are like,
hey, you know what? I'd be like, I'm in love too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, who would? Because at the same time, that's your lady, that's your woman, that's your girl. It's like you were sharing a bond with her. It's like, did you feel like you had any other important relationships prior to that, or was just like, wow, this is the first time a woman really genuinely cares about me and loves me?
No, I dealt with other women before that were like, all about tea as well. And I think that because I met them outside of the strip club, they were just regular, genuine relationships. I kind of, man, I did those relationships wrong. I took them for granted. And even when I met my ex-wife, I had a girlfriend at the time. And she's from Chicago, and she was tall, and she's probably like, I don't know, maybe 6'1", 6'2", whatever. And she was upset. Like my ex-wife scared her off.
Oh, I was gonna say that they were aware of each other.
So I had a girlfriend, Tanisha, and
you put her name out there.
Tanisha, if you're out there, hit me up.
Tanisha, I love you. Tanisha.
I'm back on the market.
Oh my
God. No, but yeah, Tanisha was cool, man, and she actually popped up to on campus one time unannounced because I stopped answering like her phone calls and texts because I was preoccupied with my ex-wife. And so she was on campus. She's like, yo, does anybody know where T is? Blah, blah, blah. So I started getting text messages and calls, and they're like, yo, T, it's this tall girl on campus looking for you. So I'm with my ex-wife at the time, and she's just like, what happened? I told her, and, I let her know the whole situation. And she's like, yeah, I'm going to have to come up there and let her know you're taken now. She's like trying to secure her bag. And she ended up like, asking me for her number. Long story short, she called her and told her, my ex-wife called my ex-girlfriend and told her, yeah, he's with me now. You don't have to come, unannounced, up to campus and, this, that, and third. And she kind of scared her away. So, graduation, her parents come, my mother comes, my brother comes, and they're all at graduation. And we go to dinner afterwards in town. We go to I think TGI Fridays or something like that. And I was originally supposed to go back to Chicago after school. Hey, school's done. We're done. Come back home. Let's go the career path of basketball, but let's do it from home. Like I said, I felt indebted to my ex-wife because she paid basically for me to be here. Mom, you showed up to my graduation, which I love my mom. She's done everything that she could do, right, for multiple children at one time with no help from any fathers. So I'm like, dang, Mom, she paid for you to even be here. If you think about it.
I mean, that's a big deal.
So I'm like, let me, she was like, so my ex-wife's like, well, just come for a little bit. You don't got to stay. Just come for like a couple weeks.
Yeah. What was your guys' dynamic as far as like the way you interacted with her? Not many people talk about the story where they actually fell in love with a stripper and right. made them your wife.
I know.
So
it was kind of like I never treated her like a stripper. Like I kind of treated her just like like a girl that I met if I met in the regular club or something, right? Because after a while we started talking, we went on a few dates out to eat, and she told me that ironically enough, her parents were pastors of their own church.
Wow. Give us at least a little bit of her background on that. Like her parents growing up as pastors and what led her down this promiscuous lifestyle.
Right. I think that's what it was, right? Like promiscuous lifestyle was like, because she grew up so sheltered with, parents who were pastors of their own church and stuff. It was just like once she became, I think she was pregnant at like 17, 18 years old with her first kid. It was because she was so sheltered. She wanted to go out there and explore. Once she became of age, she thought she was an adult, right? So met her first child's father at like 17, was pregnant before high school was even over. And I met the parents, and I can kind of see, how they had like a strong foundation, and, I can see where they wanted to shelter her and stuff like that because they're just all about the Bible. That's it. Like, even if you have any situation, it's like, oh, the Bible. If I said, oh, I sprained my ankle today, I was training, you should pray. It's like everything was the Bible. So I can see why she kind of led astray. Like, oh, well, let me go do my own thing because I've been so sheltered my whole life. But her and our interaction was always just regular. It had nothing to do with the Bible. It was just like us getting to know each other. And I think that once we got married, like I said, it was right before I went overseas. It was like the worst time to get married because the distance, the time difference. She had already had a kid, so she wasn't, she wasn't going to visit me in my first job.
Yeah, because that's also another thing. Like you are actually stepping in, choosing to make this woman your wife. She already has a child from a previous relationship, and you're saying, "Hey, we can be a family together."
Right.
And do this. So what really made her so special that you wanted to actually stick around with, other than just maybe the lifestyle? What was it that was with her, that really got you going?
Great question.
Like, I want to get on bended knee and I want you to be my wife.
So I was young, right? I was like, 22 years old. And I mean, I'm not afraid to admit it now. Like I was just a very shallow person. She was pretty. She had a nice body, nice fat booty, small, petite, little waist, and she gave me sex all the time. and it's funny because she's 4 years older than me, and so if I'm 22, she was like 26, but she knew all I have to do is fuck T. That's it. Just give him sex all the time whenever he wants. He's gonna be happy. You know what I mean? And so for me, it was like very, very low standard. Yeah. You know, not to say anything negative against her. I hate to talk negatively. But
she felt like she figured you out.
Yeah, exactly.
See, that's another thing that people don't really understand. Like when either exotic dancers or strippers are dealing with men, they're getting men in their most vulnerable, authentic form. And then once they understand that man and how he operates and what he needs, then they're able to maneuver and say, hey, you know what? If I do X, Y, and Z for him, he's going to do whatever. This, and this.
Exactly.
And, you know, if that's all it is, then, well, you're at the mercy and you'll fall in love real quick. Shit, I ain't gonna lie. I fell in love in the strip club probably a few good times. And
exactly.
I was just like, yo, man, I don't know, man. This is wild.
It's always about, you know, and for me, it was just that. It was like, okay, she's pretty. I've met her in the strip club. You know, so I'm every man thinks that a stripper is just freaky and gonna fuck them all the time. And for a while in the beginning, that's what she did. That's how she secured me. It was like, all right, cool. You know, I come home from working out, training, shower up, sucking and fucking me.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, that's a good feeling, man. You know, no, seriously, to be able to have that kind of connection that you found something that you found a connection with a person. You're just like, you know what, I'm satisfied, I'm happy, and I want to be able to move forward with them. Yeah. So what was that process like when you actually proposed? When you're just like,
so it wasn't.
She does it to me so good. I love it, yo. Like what? Yeah.
It wasn't even really a proposal. It was more like a conversation, right? It was like a business decision because, like I said, that debt should have been paid off, right? Like, but I think just thinking of the gesture that she did, I felt like, okay, you did this for me. Let me show you that. In addition to that, I lived with her before I signed, you know, my first contract. So I'm like, all right, you did this for me and you've taken care of me while I've been training and talking to teams and talking to agents and in negotiation, you know, as opposed to me living at home in Chicago with my mom for free and not having to worry about debt or obligation. I did it with her and I'm like, okay, you basically took care of a grown man, 22 years old. So let me repay you by showing you like, okay, I'll get married to you and I'm going to go pro and I'll take care of everything. You won't have anything to worry about. That was my way of paying it back.
Yeah, yeah.
That was dumb.
And that would be any woman's dream because it's like you're telling them like, yeah, you're my lady. I'm going to go to the league or I'm going to go overseas. I'm going to get this paper and you're going to stand by me and we're going to do what we do.
Right.
And have a family.
Exactly. And you know, that was the initial, like, that's what I did. Like, I just had that conversation with her. And then we went to the courthouse. We got the license and everything like that. And we both signed it. Well, her father is the pastor. So you got to have a
pastor present. Yeah.
So they had their own church, everything. So we did a small, family only, not even friends ceremony at the church. And he signed it, sent it off. I don't know. I was overseas by the time it was really official, right? And that was it. We were married.
Yeah, it seems like you were making a lot of your moves in private. You know, you didn't really tell anybody what was really going on.
My mother was furious.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I had a Skype call with my mom. I'm in Spain, and I had a conversation with her, and I said something, I leaked, and I was like, yeah, my wife. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, didn't tell you, but I got married. She's like, T, stop playing with me. Like, don't joke around like that. And I'm like, yeah, Mom, I got married before I came over here. She started crying.
Wow.
Like, oh my God, Ma, don't cry. And she had the phone number to, or no, she asked me, she's like, give me the phone number to the parents. And I remember getting a call like the next day from the parents. And they were like, your mother called us and she cursed us out. And she said that we were fake pastors. And, you know, my mom went off on them because she's like, how dare you marry my son and not call me?
Right. Yeah.
You know, what pastor, what kind of pastor are you to do that? But they, and I'm not defending anyone, right? But obviously that's their daughter, right? So they see the potential money and security.
They were looking at you as the bag too. They saw 6'10", he's tall, he plays. Oh my gosh, still.
They're like, yo,
it's like you just can't escape it. You can't escape it.
We want our daughter locked in. If we're gonna lock anybody in, we want to lock our daughter into this agreement with him.
Yeah.
And if anything goes left, alimony.
Yeah.
So it from their point of view, I can see where it benefited them, but my mom was pissed. Like, no, you don't do that.
Well, and I could see why your mom is pissed, rightfully so. I mean, you don't ever want to hear anything like that. But at some point, you're going through this process where you've probably felt that everything is on you.
Everything was.
Because it's like if you're talking about your mom not even able to pay your graduation dues, not saying that she had to or owed to, but like,
I mean, she didn't have to pay for anything else. Exactly. It was like, Mom, I've done everything. Now all I need you to do is just pay this part so I can complete my journey and my process. You don't have it?
Yeah. And then you had to figure it out from there.
I had to figure it out. Imagine if I wasn't dating the stripper and I was dating the other girl and she couldn't afford it either. Then what? Then I just say, all right, well, forget it.
You know, it's so funny.
I'll just pay later and get my degree in the mail, but don't go through the actual ceremony.
I'll say this, and I think this is what goes back to the Wilberforce ties, right? If it got to that point where you wanted to tell your brothers or tell anybody,
I guess so.
I think, you know, they
would have scooped up the money.
We would have definitely had your help, because at the end of the day, we all understood our situations and where we came from. It's not like everyone was balling out of control or came from really good families, but if it meant everything for you to walk across that stage and you're the number one person in your family to do that, anybody would have done anything for that because of that significance. And Wilberforce allotted that opportunity for a lot of our students.
Like you said, I did a lot of things in secret, and it may have been just my pride. So I never really mentioned it to anyone, right? And she was someone who I spent a lot of my time with after the season was over. So she's like, what's wrong? And so that's when I opened up to her and told her about it. For her, it was $400. Here, done. But if I would have been more open and honest with my brothers and my teammates, I'm pretty sure everybody would have, you know, took a collection and made sure, like, yo, T, you're walking. You know. But you know, everything is always clear in hindsight. In hindsight, I would go back and do things totally different.
Well, I mean, we haven't gotten to the part where, you know, you're married, you're overseas. What were the issues that you were dealing with your marriage as far as playing overseas, and then now where she's at home in the States and you're moving how you're moving, she's moving how she's moving? Is there any trust? Is the communication tight, or is this the time where you guys really separated apart?